entry to the hollow earth and then been able to explore that. So that obviously is why neither man actually made it to the North Pole.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand what your problem is. It's accepted science fact.
Yeah. Well, so I guess that's one of the reasons then that the National Geographic Society eventually went back and looked at his and declared that
he didn't actually make it.
Didn't prove it. Yeah, it was unproven.
They went from totally did it. You made it to the North Pole claim is unproven.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they still left Cook's claim as disproven.
Yeah,
because he didn't have anything, so they said, well, you're totally making it up. You don't even have anything to support this claim, so we're just going to throw it out.
Yeah, if I was going to believe either one of them, I would believe Cook.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, here's the great thing about Cook. His claim to Mount McKinley, everybody was saying that his pictures were of different areas of the mountain, not past what is called the Gateway, which is the final ascent. People have started looking at his writing, and there was actually a Russian team that followed his route based on his writing, and it turns out they made it to the peak.
Yeah, there are people, more than one set of people have actually duplicated his route.
It's a completely unconventional or unstandard way to go to the top. And that's why most people seem to have thrown it out. But it appears that he was telling the truth on that, which is why I'm inclined to believe he probably, at least to the best of his knowledge, was telling the truth about getting to the North Pole.
Mm-hmm. I think he probably was too.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I think he did it. Or, super close anyway. I think officially the first man to make it to the North Pole, it didn't happen until whole way by airdrops of supplies. That's the only way that this guy managed to do it. And of course the airdrops help figure out if he's really there.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't an easy thing to get to.
No, it's not. It's something I probably wouldn't even try to get to. But
me neither.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, like they have, they have some pretty rough times. Like it was months ago that I read Endurance by F.A. Worsley, who was it's about Ernest Shackleton and then his attempt to get to the South Pole. And that's an amazing story. I'd highly recommend that story, by the way. And I know we're talking the other end of the earth, but it's kind of a similar thing. We're talking sleds and dogs and ships crushed in the ice and tales of incredible survival. And these guys went through an amazing set of adventures.
Well, I mean, over the years, there's countless people have died trying to get to those places. So it's what I called it earlier. It's kind of the white whale. I'm going to be the one who gets it, and that could be why some of these guys say, "To hell with it, I'm going to lie because I've tried so hard. I deserve it."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I still think that Cook probably thought he got there, and I think Perry knew well as a lying jerk that he didn't get there, but couldn't admit that he had failed yet again. And so went on that nasty little smear campaign that he launched.
Yeah, and by the way, when he went public with this whole thing about the Inuits said they just went out a few miles and then just sort of circled around and came back. Well, that's obviously a lie.
Well, no, they didn't circle around, but they went a totally wrong way.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, but if they had just like sort of gone out there intending to fake it, and and then just decided, screw it, let's go back home. Well, why were they gone for 14 months?
Got lost.
Yeah, I guess.
Got cut off on the ice.
They were never really lost. I don't think. No, they knew where they were. They were because on a floating ice floe, and
Cook figured it out.
Yeah.
He figured out where they were. That's how he knew how to navigate back to the village.
Yeah, he that was his big mistake though. Is he should have taken a few more people with him, and he should have made sure everybody in the expedition knew how to use a sextant.
Again, that's why heading to the South Pole was so well documented. To make sure that didn't happen.
Smart move there, yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I've got.
Yeah.
What do you? It sounds like you're in agreement with me on it, Joe.
I think that it's quite likely that Perry lied, and I think it's quite likely. Well, I know he lied about some stuff.
Yeah,
he was not an honorable guy.
He wasn't honest.
No, he was not. I think it's quite possible that Cook actually did make it to the North Pole, or somewhere very close to where he, maybe through errors in navigation, felt that he was on the exact spot. I think he was pretty damn close if he wasn't actually on the exact spot.
I agree. I think Perry seems like a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you starting to use the letter A and then stop.
Yeah. And I think Cook, he's a sympathetic character. You want to be on his side.
Yeah. And the hard part for Cook. Remember how I told you he kind of got the short end of the stick for the rest of his life?
Oh yeah.
He got I think it was about 10 years later, he started investing in oil fields, and he was sending correspondence and projecting the value of the output of his oil field. And simple version is that somebody challenged it, and then they charged him with mail fraud for fraudulent claims about the value of something, and they sent him to jail for like 10 years, which was, everybody couldn't believe what a harsh judgment it was.
Well, the judge, apparently the prosecutor thought it was overly harsh.
Yeah.
But the judge was, guess what?
A friend of Perry.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, turns out that part of Cook's oil field was on one of the giant oil reserves.
Yeah, he wasn't lying at all.
He was. He actually undercut the amount. He was shy about the production.
Yeah, for this he gets a good long stay in jail.
Yep.
I mean, part of that due to Perry.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, I almost wonder if it was a good thing for him, because he said that being in prison, he was a surgeon, he was a doctor in prison, and it was very peaceful for him and very calming, and he could just get away from all the crap that was going on, because he could never outrun it.
Yeah.
So it might have, in a way, been the best thing that Perry could have done for him.
Yeah, but still, the poor guy really suffered, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel bad. Okay, we settled that mystery.
Yes, we totally, at least settled it.
What do you want to talk about now?
How about our website?
Oh, yeah.
Because we've got one of those.
It's lovely.
Yes, we do. It's at thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. We, of course, this episode and all other episodes are on the website. Going to have links to research on there. If you're not listening to us on the website, you can always listen to us through any streaming service. We're on pretty much every one of them. Of course, we're on iTunes. If you are on iTunes and you're listening to the show through there, do take the time to leave us a comment and a rating. Those do help.
Especially high ratings.
Well, we've always said that it helps, but I know that it helps because we continually keep moving upwards in the rankings, and we're getting really high up there, which is awesome.
The rankings, are they based on downloads or are they based on ratings?
It's a combination. I don't think Apple tells you exactly what it is.
It's a really complex algorithm you wouldn't understand.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I bet it would.
Hipster. We're, of course, on Twitter. You can find us at Thinkin' Sideways, and we do use that. Twitter's actually been really, really busy lately, which is pretty fun. We are on Facebook. You can find us at our Facebook page. You can join the Facebook group. We can have there's lots of conversations going on there. We're getting lots of stuff all the time through that. Total fun. So come join us there. And if you're enjoying the podcast and you want to hear more, you can always go ahead and go to Patreon to support the show. Patreon.com/thinkingsideways is where we're at. You can choose to donate however much you want per show. Totally an option, but that is something we have out there. Or if you want to do something that's just a one-timer, we've got the PayPal right there on the website.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Bill Gates discovers our website or our podcast and pledges $1 million an episode.
Fantastic. But
wouldn't it
gonna happen.
Yeah, no, probably not.
The final thing I got to tell everybody is, of course, about our email address, which is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. And go ahead and send us an email if you've got a story suggestion, you've got thoughts, you've got comments, you're looking for more information. We're happy to get them all, and we'll field everything. So, think that's everything we gotta share here.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you're right.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close it on out, and we will talk to all you good people next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by making the contents of my cat's litter box into little almond rokas and selling them at Saturday Market. Instead, it's supported by the generous contributions of people like you, our listeners, on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/thinking-sideways to learn more.
Thinking Sideways. Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey everyone, happy holidays from Team Sideways.
That's right, it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve.
It is. It's
Yeah.
the holidays. Yay!
I know.
Yay.
But here's hoping everybody gets all the cool presents they're dreaming of, whether it's a nuclear weapon or
world peace.
yeah,
Whichever. What?
Just nuclear weapons. Really?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So
Don't
if,
you want one?
if you've been listening to the show for more than a year, I guess at this point, or if you've binge listened, I guess, to all of our episodes, you know that we like to do themed shows around pretty much every holiday of the year. We do Halloween themes and we do Christmas themes or winter holiday themes.
There you go.
And there are actually a lot of Christmas mysteries.
There are.
There are, really.
Yeah, there
and
truly
so,
are.
And so this year we decided to try to take on a big one, and that is we're going to talk about Frosty, aka the Snowman.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Frosty. Yeah.
I assume most of our listeners have heard of Frosty, but if you haven't, here's the skinny. In 1950, a song was released about this supposedly enigmatic creature. Since the original, there have been many, many, many recordings of the song, the original song. Lots
Way
of
too many.
movies, lots of movies, lots of books, lots of merchandising partnerships with the Frosty franchise and popular items, like the holiday version of the Where's Waldo books. McDonald's did a partnership with Frosty for a while.
Frosty's big.
Yeah, he is. And officially, the franchise of Frosty's Story is owned jointly by DreamWorks Animation and Warner Brothers TV. But we're not going to really talk about that, because the thing is,
That's kind of the sanitized version of Frosty.
it is.
Yeah.
It's the Disney version of the fairy tales.
Yeah, the
right?
real,
Yes.
the real
Yeah.
character appears to be a bit darker.
Yeah, it's kind of like the short version. It's like we kind of know the Cliff Note version of Story's life.
And instead, we're going to go kind of back to, say, fairy tales before the Grimm brothers even got a hold of
Yeah.
them, to what they really were.
What they really were, yeah, and that's what we're going to do with Frosty. Because we don't really know who he is. I mean, they say that magic made a snowman come
Right.
to life, but I have a hard
Yeah.
time believing that.
The magic hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And even if it was a magic hat, where did the magic hat come from?
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you guys just want to jump into theories?
Yeah, so
On how he existed, really? Because there are a couple different theory sections we'll do, right?
Yeah, there really kind
Yeah.
of is. There's a whole lot. Well, we've got a ton of theories, so we should probably start there.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive right in, to steal a term from Steve?
okay,
Yeah.
right on.
I guess I'm up because I have theory number one,
Yeah.
which is when you read the story of Frosty, you'll notice that the whole story comes from a kind of a very small locale, and then it's spread really kind of virally over one or two winters.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing about Frosty and all these crazy things he does, to me, it's pretty simple, is that he didn't actually exist. Instead, he was kind of a group hallucination.
What?
Okay, what does everybody do at the holiday season when they go to work Christmas parties or family get-togethers? What do you drink?
Eggnog.
Exactly.
Well, what's...
Okay,
Yeah.
Aunt Edna knows how to make great eggnog because she loves to put a lot of booze in it.
Does
But-
she age it?
No, but there
Oh.
are some teetotalers who don't believe in putting the booze in, and they evidently may have been the ones that were aging it.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a situation that's very similar to, what's the bread mold? Ergot? Is that?
Yeah.
Ergo.
Yeah.
So, same thing. All these people go to this giant party and they all drink this rancid eggnog.
Oh.
And they all hallucinate.
Oh.
There's probably one guy who was in a top hat and a scarf running around having a high old time while he was stoned out of his brain too. And they all went, "He's a snowman, it's so crazy." And then he took his hat off and he didn't look the same anymore, and story solved. So that is where I think the simple version may have come from.
And
And I mean, there's a few things where you see some stuff about the effects of this mold, but
Well, yeah, we talked when we talked about it with the dancing
Dancing
plague,
plague,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess.
there's also the Mary Celeste.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having it.
But
But
okay.
then also, I mean, the whole Frosty thing, it didn't just go on for the space of a few hours at a party. It went on for a long time. I mean, Frosty was hanging out for a while, right?
Well, have you ever heard of a thing called a flashback?
Yeah.
These people may have been
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like an acid
Flashback.
trip, kind of having a little flashback. And so they all think, well, yeah, it seemed, and human memory is so fallible, that it may have been that they thought it was days when they were really
Yeah.
just kind of
That's true.
screwed up for a while.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yeah,
initial...
I mean, I've had nights where it's been like, man, it seems like we've been hanging out for like 12 hours, and it's been like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
That's a dull party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my first
That's your
theory.
theory about
Okay.
it? Okay. All right. Well, I have another theory, and it's not the magic hat. Let's consider the magic hat and why it's so wrong. First of all, as Devin has already said, where did it come from? As an animated device, it's got some pretty serious shortcomings because Frosty was around for a while, and supposing you're Frosty and you're, say, crossing the street and a puff of wind knocks the magic hat off your head, and now you're back to being an inanimate object
That's true.
in the middle of the street, and of course the car's going to come along in 3 seconds.
Plow
You
you
know how
over.
Murphy's Law works. Yeah, so he was around for a while, and you would think the hat would be like getting knocked off his head all the time. And
Unless he had like a cylindrical snow dome. You know what I'm talking about? Like the top of his head had a cylinder in it that the top hat fit on snugly.
I see,
Yeah.
That could be.
I suppose
That would stop the wind issue.
Yeah, but here's another reason to not believe it, and which is that if these things existed, or just one of them, somebody would have made a 500-foot tall city-destroying snowman a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we've never seen one, right?
Because it is all little kids that are around Frosty.
Yeah.
And little kids love to make that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would make the biggest snowman possible. So I think that Frosty was actually something else entirely, and there is actually some support for this in the Talmud of all places. He's inanimate, then he comes to life, and that sounds an awful lot like a golem.
I don't know what a golem is.
Yeah,
I mean, I
golem.
know what golem is, but I don't know what a golem.
Golem is in Jewish folklore. It's when somebody wants to make a creature that can be sort of a helper, that kind of thing,
Or a defender.
or a defender. They can put one together out of like mud or dust or whatever, and then if you know the right magic words, you can actually turn this into an animated creature.
I want to say it was there. It's always there's something that's always written on the forehead, and I can't remember what it is, but that's how they bring it to life.
Yeah, and so a golem can be really made of anything, even snow. And then you have your little helper, defender, whatever.
So Frosty could have been made of snow and been animated to help? He didn't...
Yeah, he didn't really actually.
He didn't do much.
He didn't
Yeah.
do much other than playing with the kids. It seems like.
Although I guess around the holidays, that's kind of what you want, right? You're like, okay, kids, get out of the house, go play. I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
No? Is that not a thing?
Yeah, no, that definitely is a thing. But here's my problem with this theory, Joe, is that the golem doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Frosty nattered on continually, according to the story.
Yeah, this is according to the story anyway. Yeah, he did speak, so that is kind of a weakness in the theory. Although you never know. I mean, it's just like zombies in the movies have sort of morphed over the years, and now they move fast.
Oh, they used to be slow and bumbly, and now they run.
And now they can
like
run.
at Olympic speeds.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
they have different attributes. They mutate in different ways and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so the golem may have evolved just like zombies did.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my theory. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, prepare to decide otherwise. Because I actually did my research and
did?
found some experts
Rub
here,
it in.
and I did my homework or I'm lazy, whichever.
How did you find these guys?
Well, I did a little digging. I found some historic records, and somebody suggested that these guys might know what they were talking about. So I actually gave them a call. I did a recording. Do you want to just you just want to listen to it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
This is Justin and Aaron from the Generation Y.
Oh, hey guys, it's Devin from Thinking Sideways.
Who is this really?
You guys, it's Devin. It's Devin from Thinking Sideways. You know that other podcast that you get compared to all the time, and we get compared to you all the time, and we're like best friends now. Apparently, I need your help. I hear you guys have some information on Frosty, aka the Snowman. Can you tell me about him, like who he was or anything about him?
So, do we have, like, what evidence do we have on Frosty the Snowman?
I don't know. I didn't really do very much research. I kind of did a little digging and then found you guys. So can you guys help me out here?
We don't have a corncob pipe or a hat. So those things are lost to history.
So there's no physical evidence?
No, the physical evidence is gone. What we do have, though, is a song. If you remember, not too long ago, we covered the McMartin preschool scandal, and a song figured pretty heavily into that case. So here, I think this song, Frosty the Snowman, is even more important to this case than the other song was to the McMartin.
That song was written in the early 1950s. Maybe the lyrics will tell us something about this. So it goes, Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul. So we know he's jolly, and he has a soul, so he's a being, or he's alive, right? With a corncob pipe and a button nose, and 2 eyes made out of coal. Well, coal, back in the 50s, you had coal mining, and you had coal burning furnaces. So I guess this is sort of his trying to relate to the common man, the worker man, the blue-collar worker, right?
Hard-working man.
Yeah.
You got to give respect to Frosty already, right?
Yeah. And he's got a button nose. I mean, it's clothing, you know. Maybe it's good for sniffing clothing. I don't know. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day. So the children know. How did they know? How were they being questioned about this? Who was questioning the children?
I don't know that they're being questioned. It almost sounds like it's a secret they're supposed to keep.
Okay.
The children know. The adults do not know.
That's a little suspicious.
Very suspicious. Now I'm not feeling so good about Frosty now.
Okay. There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Magic hat? To entice children? Kids love magic. Or maybe it's Magic Mushroom Silk Road? I don't know. For when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. The magic hat induces dancing. Could be another drug reference. I'm not sure.
Well, now it really is starting to sound like drugs.
Okay.
Well, it was written in the 50s, right?
Well, yeah.
What would people think?
It was before
You're not supposed to dance like that, right?
No, it was a little taboo. I mean, this is before Footloose, even. Oh, Frosty the Snowman was as alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play, just the same as you and me.
So he's identifying with them. He's saying, hey, it's cool. You know, I may be big, but I'm one of you.
Yeah, but it is a little weird for this adult male guy to be only playing with children. And he's kind of blue-collar. I mean, if he's Michael Jackson, that's one thing, but I don't know if Frosty has enough money to be playing with little kids and get away with it. Frosty, clumsy as he could be, see him lopping along, off he goes on an icicle spree, with a happy song, Frosty the Snowman. He's clumsy. He likes to trip and fall, maybe put his hand somewhere they don't need to be. I don't know. I mean, we got problems here.
He's falling down or falling into people.
Yeah.
He's pretty clumsy.
He knew the sun was hot that day, so he said, let's run and we'll have some fun now before I melt away. He knew the sun was hot that day. The heat is on.
The heat is on. Right. The heat is on to him.
Yeah. He knows his time with these children is limited. Let's just say that. Down to the village with a broomstick in his hand. Okay, there's more children in the village. Possible weapon involved.
Or a spanking tool.
Running here and there, all around the square, saying, catch me if you can. That's cute. He led them down.
So he's luring them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's play this game.
Catch me.
Yeah, catch me.
I'm going to run down the basement.
Oh, yeah, they're grabbing. Tee-hee-hee. Yeah, this isn't good so far, man.
No. He led them down the streets of town, right to the traffic cop, and only paused a moment when he heard him holler, "Stop." Frosty has just been given a lawful command by a police officer. And a police officer, if he suspects a crime is being committed, he has the right to stop you and Terry frisk you, interrogate you. He has the right, and you have to obey his command. So he sees Frosty with a group of children that he's not related to. He's not their guardian. Frosty the Snowman had to hurry on his way, but he waved goodbye saying, "Don't you cry, I'll be back again someday." I think Frosty just refused a lawful command from an officer, and we could consider him fleeing from a scene or evading arrest. He didn't stop, right?
Well, the idea is that he's not planning to stop, but he could be caught. And I think he's telling everyone, don't worry, one way or another, I'll work my way back. I'll be back. Well, whether he's caught or whether he gets away.
Okay. But the next line is thumpity thump thump, thumpity thump thump. Now, is this the sound of the nightstick hitting him?
Well, it's either that or, you know, the sound a heavy, if you make a big heavy snow block or something and throw it at the snow, it makes a thump.
Yeah.
So there's a battle here.
He's getting slammed down with concrete.
Either this is a really vicious battle. Either the cop's winning or Frosty's winning. But I think with the thumpity thump thump, maybe I'm reading too much, but to me it sounds like someone is consistently winning here.
Yeah.
So either the nightstick is working or Frosty's working. And if I had to guess,
it's the nightstick.
I think that's if this has a happy ending.
Well, it says, "Look at Frosty go." Is that to jail?
No, look at Frosty go to me implies that Frosty's moving under his own powers. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think maybe he sort of separated into his three parts, and then it went thumpity thump thump down onto the police officer, and then he's like knocked out. And then watch Frosty go. He's heading for the hills.
Okay. No,
he's running for the hills.
Well, it says thumpity thump thump over the hills of snow. I mean, I really liked the movie Scarface, and there was hills of snow in that movie. I'm not sure. What was the original question? Were we supposed to? I don't know what. Frosty just doesn't sound like a good person to me.
Why Frosty?
Why did he do it? He should
well,
just
we have an idea of why he did it, but it makes us uncomfortable even to think about it.
So I hope that answers your guys' questions, and thanks for asking, and you all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, what's in the pipe, Frosty?
Thanks, you guys. That was really helpful. Have a good Christmas. Merry Christmas. Say hi to Val and the kids for me.
Show off.
Ha ha. So they seem to know what they're talking about, right?
Sort of.
No?
Yeah, a little. I mean, they bring up some good points. I will give them that. Based on the song.
Sounds like he could have been an actual guy.
Are they, were they suggesting that Frosty was some sort of a perv, or that he was a drug pusher, or what?
Yeah, that he was like a drug guy. Like a drug type guy.
Is this why I've suddenly noticed that both of you have been saying Frosty, a.k.a. the Snowman?
Well, that's his name.
Yeah, a.k.a. as in the Snowman, as in, you know.
That was his code name.
As in blow.
Blow.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that part. Okay.
Yeah.
So no wonder the kids liked him so much.
Yeah.
No wonder they all ran around so much.
They had so much energy. So I guess do we feel like we need to come to a consensus in the room about what Frosty was in order to go forward, or are we okay with just thinking different things?
I don't know that it does any good, because the fact of the matter is the media industrial complex is going to push the he was a snowman thing, and it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter to us on our show?
I guess it matters to us and our listeners, but let's face it, I mean, no matter what truth we come up with, it will be crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's probably worth coming up with the truth. I mean, I think that the guys from Generation Y, they definitely know their stuff. And
yeah, there was, but they said that Frosty was kind of a pusher kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it appears to me that he actually was a snowman.
I don't know.
An animated snowman.
I just don't.
All right, well, I think...
And that's not, he can be a snowman and still be a drug pusher.
That's true.
Yeah.
He could be a snowman dealing snow. So, okay, well, then, I mean, what evidence what do we know about Frosty? What happened to Frosty?
Well, yeah, that's, according to the song, he ran afoul of the town's traffic cop and then left town, promising to be back someday. But of course, in town, out of town, sooner or later, the temperature goes up, Frosty melts. So he couldn't have survived that season.
It's global warming?
Yeah.
Or just seasonal change?
Seasonal change, yeah. So that is one, that's kind of the prevalent theory, is that temperature rise and Frosty melts.
Actually, you guys, when I was talking to Justin and Aaron, they actually mentioned that
Those are Generation Y guys?
Yeah, the Gen Y guys.
Yeah.
They know someone who might actually have kind of the inside scoop about what actually happened to Frosty. I have his phone number. Do you want to give him a call?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, but this guy's really, if I remember this, because I saw these emails going back and forth, and this guy's, he's a little squirrely about who he is.
Okay, but it's a podcast, we can edit it.
Okay, so because I know that I saw this email is that he wanted to be completely anonymous, so we're going to keep this anonymous for him.
Yeah, of course we are.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So you have to edit it. So let's just call him up right now.
Okay. Hey, Mike?
That's me.
Oh, hey, Mike. It's Devin from Thinking Sideways. We emailed back and forth a couple times. We are giving you a call. We're recording right now. Hopefully that's okay. I know you're. We'll edit. It's fine. But we have some questions about Frosty.
Yeah, because you said that you had some info and that you would talk to us about it. And I know we've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, Mike, as you know, we were covering the story of Frosty, a.k.a. the Snowman. And, as you are well aware, the standard story is that Frosty was done in by a temperature change. He essentially melted. But I've heard rumors on Reddit and other places that Frosty perhaps met his end a different way.
Yeah, listen, I'm only talking to you guys because I don't want, I don't think this is right, what they did to that boy.
You mean Frosty?
Yeah. You got to promise me, though, you're going to keep my name out of this, because if they did that to him, imagine what they're going to do to me. I have a house, a family, a dog.
Scout's honor. We won't let it out.
Yeah, we'll delete any references to your name and everything else in Sword and Scale podcast.
Okay.
So what's going on? What happened?
Well, the official answer is that nobody really knows for sure. What we do know is that on July 31st, 1975, the day after Jimmy Hoffa was killed, a 14-year-old boy by the name of Sammy Johnson, he was skateboarding when he found a carrot near an industrial food packing warehouse just outside of Detroit.
Oh my God. What about 2 little lumps of coal?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
The carrot was just sitting there among a bunch of boxes. I mean, how do you explain that? 2 weeks later, they did find 2 pieces of coal near the Alameda Chili Cook-Off.
How far away from the carrot?
Well, that's on the other side of the country.
Oh my God.
But they were just sitting there next to a pile of logs. After 4 days, they found a couple of twigs near the home of a 76-year-old World War I veteran by the name of Frank Buckles. Just went outside and he found them there.
Those were his arms?
Well, that's what some people think. It was in western Pennsylvania. It was a bungalow, and the arms, or twigs, were just discarded there like a pile of trash. Now, you tell me, who mutilates a body like that and leaves parts of it all over the country? If you ask me, there's only one outfit that could do it, and that's the mob.
Do you have any proof of this?
What I didn't tell you is that next to each of these grisly body parts, there was a puddle.
Oh my
Almost
God.
like they were trying to send a message. Whatever Frosty did, he was weighing over his head.
So how did Frosty get involved with the mob?
He was doing some low-level stuff at first, collecting bets. He was a bookie for a while in the Fuller Park area. Everything was working out, pretty good for him. He had a couple seedy clients, though, and one of them decided he wasn't going to pay up. I mean, Frosty's a cold dude, but, even though he has got that bit of an ominous stare to him with those beady black eyes, there wasn't much to back it up. I mean, with those twig-like arms and not a lot of upper body strength.
Not really, no. Couldn't really hold a gun.
The funny thing is, I remember old Frosty. There was this one time at the Green Door Tavern, he got pissed drunk, and he downed half a bottle of Jack. He was going around challenging bar patrons to an arm wrestling match.
I bet that worked out well.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, I bet. Got his twig broken.
So I think after that, he started having some problems with the boss. He just seemed to keep messing up after that, like he couldn't do anything right. It was just a matter of time before he got what was coming to him, and we all saw it coming from a mile away.
So what was he?
He's a creepy mother. He was.
But the question is, was he? Was it aliens? Was he? What's the Jewish creature? The golem. Was he a golem, perhaps?
Dude said he was from Jersey. I mean.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't a snowman.
Well, I think he was from Slovakia, to be honest with you. So I don't know what that makes him, or maybe Romania or Bulgaria, one of the Ias. I don't really know. But he would get lit up and sing these weird drinking songs from some Eastern European language, and it would creep everybody out. Plus the dumb hat he would always wear. Even at the time when everybody was wearing hats, it was unfashionable. Everybody wore fedoras, and he insisted on wearing that stupid top hat.
And that scarf.
Yeah, he's definitely an out-of-towner, But, in answering your question about whether he was a snowman, rumor has it he was just an alcoholic. He kept himself warm on those cold winter nights somehow, probably with a bottle of scotch and a pipe filled with a little hashish. I don't know.
Yeah.
The 70s were weird, man. They had all kinds of things back then. They had friggin' genetically modified reindeer with glowing noses.
I remember that.
Yeah, they had a snow Wookiee and just a lot of drugs. So Frosty tried them all.
Yeah, no, I've heard definitely that his name actually kind of had two meanings, the snowman and all that stuff. And that's probably why he was so popular with the kids in the neighborhood. He was passing out lots of free blow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he definitely had some on him. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for agreeing to talk to us, and thanks for the info, I guess.
Well, yeah, no problem. Just remember, keep Mike from Sword of Scale out of it. I was never here. This is totally off the record, and I don't want snowman body parts showing up here in Florida.
Yeah, or your body parts showing up here. Yeah, we'll definitely edit your name out of this.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you for your time. Thanks for the information.
No problem.
Wow.
Yeah, that source. That source came out of nowhere.
I didn't.
That's an ugly ending for old Frosty.
Our emails did not. I didn't think that was gonna.
No.
I don't think he wanted to commit anything to pen and paper.
Text, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand why now.
Yeah. This is big stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. So Frosty done in by the mob apparently. But there's another theory out there that he was not done in by the mob. He was done in by a mob.
Oh.
Well,
Whole different story. I know. This kind of contradicts our anonymous source's story. But actually, in reality, it doesn't. It appears that there were actually two Frosties.
What?
Yeah, I know. One of them apparently was an imposter. Which is which, I'm not really sure. I'm going to say this other Frosty, we'll call him Frosty 2. He did give his name as Frosty. This is at least according to the guys over at twofrosties.com, which has some interesting stuff on it. According to Two Frosties, in late fall the same year that the original Frosty showed up in town, word got back to the authorities of a bizarre animated snowman. And by authorities, I don't mean that traffic cop who yelled at Frosty. I'm talking about the Men in Black.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Of course, they were concerned that Frosty was possibly an alien or a robotic alien probe disguised as a snowman. So they decided to bring him in for some questioning. On one night in early November, an unmarked van screeched to a halt in front of Frosty, and 5 guys dressed in dark clothing jumped out, threw a blanket over Frosty, and bundled him into the back of the van. There was only one witness to this, which is one of the local kids, and nobody took him seriously when he said that a snowman had been kidnapped.
Well, who would?
Yeah, or who cares, really?
Yeah, I know, a snowman, big deal. Make another one,
okay, kid, sure.
Yeah. The feds took Frosty to a secure refrigerated facility outside of Schenectady, New York, and held him there for over a month. And by the way, this puts the final nail in the coffin of the magic hat theory, because when they took him in, they took his personal effects. They took the hat, the scarf, the pipe,
Yeah, it's weird. I was looking at those. We posted those photos and the links, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was expecting.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but this is why there were two It's believed there were two Frosties, because while he was held for well over a month in this secure facility, and at the same time, the other Frosty was out frolicking with the kids, and so couldn't have been two places at once. So that's why we think that there was a second imposter Frosty. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back to his story. The interrogation techniques escalated as time went by because Frosty kept saying that he didn't know anything, and I'm pretty sure Frosty really didn't know anything. I mean, he was just a snowman, for God's sakes. Yeah. They started out with isolation, sleep deprivation. Frosty wasn't talking. The feds weren't taking that for an answer, so they started threatening him. They threatened to turn up the thermostat. They threatened to turn him into snowballs. They threatened to turn him about, I don't even know what an alien is.
Which is amazing because most people under that level of torture will start making something up just to appease
Yeah, I
the
guess
torture.
it's almost suspicious.
Oh,
right?
Maybe he was.
Yeah, that you
Maybe
toe
he
the
was an
line
alien.
that hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Finally, in frustration, one day one of the agents leaned over the table and burned Frosty with a cigarette.
What? You can't. What?
What?
What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, you can't smoke indoor. I mean, how long ago was this?
Oh, it was decades ago.
Oh,
so yeah.
you could smoke
Oh, yeah,
inside.
you could. Yeah,
But God, you can't just like burn a guy with a cigarette.
apparently you can.
Ugh.
Yeah.
When you're a man in black, you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, since that got kind of a rise out of Frosty, they decided to go with that technique for a while. So they all lit up unfiltered Lucky Strike cigarettes and started burning poor Frosty. And of course, he's still, and it's well documented. But if you go to twofrosties.com, they have a picture of the interrogation room right after Frosty was sent back to his cell, and there's drops of water on the floor from his burns.
Oh, that's vicious.
That's
Yeah,
really,
it was
that's,
pretty
that's,
vicious.
I mean, it's just to warn our listeners, they're hard to look at.
Yeah, they are kind of graphic, but even the torture didn't get anything from them. They considered waterboarding, but it's kind of hard to waterboard somebody in a refrigerated facility because the water freezes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so and it's hard to. I can't imagine how easy it would be to waterboard a snowman anyway.
Would that be ice boarding at that point?
Yeah, I don't know, just bashing his head into a sheet of ice.
Oh.
Yeah, no, they didn't do the waterboarding. They finally actually decided that Frosty actually didn't know anything and that he wasn't an alien. On top of that, the holidays were coming up and they all needed to do some shopping. And plus, they were tired of being cold all the time.
Yeah, that job had to be terrible.
Yeah, so Frosty was dumped off just a couple of blocks from where he was kidnapped, and things went back to normal for a while. But this Frosty, I'll call him Frosty 2. Frosty 2 was kind of a hard luck snowman. In the end, things really went south for him. On the evening of February 30th, 1950, a 5-year-old boy, Robert Julius Irving, was found strangled to death. Yeah. Another young boy, Theodore Robert Bundy, said that he had seen Irving with Frosty 2 an hour or so before the body was found.
What does that name sound familiar?
Theodore Robert, I don't know.
No, it does sound familiar though, doesn't it?
Weird.
We should make sure to look it up.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. An angry crowd of townsfolk armed with matches, propane torches, cigarette lighters, and soldering irons surrounded Frosty, who at first pretended to be an inanimate object. When he saw all the lighters and torches, he started to plead his innocence, but it didn't do him any good. Soon Frosty was reduced to a puddle. Not long after that, to a frozen puddle. And the townsfolk all decided that word of this must never get out, so they vowed never to speak of it again. And the local Chamber of Commerce covered the whole thing up, just like in Jaws.
Yeah, that's got to be terrible. I mean, the streets would run with water at that point.
The streets were running with water, yes. It was sad. And
this is why mob justice shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah, it's bad.
I know. The townsfolk were all spattered with water, with Frosties, yeah. Frosty 2's with
I
water.
can't imagine how many showers it would take to get that off.
I don't know, yeah. And how do you get the water stains out of your clothes?
How many towels does that take?
I know.
Yeah, we got to stop. Come on, guys.
I know. Anyway, life kind of went back to normal. Word kind of got out. A few inquisitive reporters showed up, but they were met with basically a wall of silence. And one especially persistent one was treated to a blanket party and given a wedgie. And pretty soon, the inquiries died off. It was apparent the townsfolk were not going to talk about it. And the cover-up was very comprehensive. Even the Wikipedia page has been sanitized.
Yeah, nobody really knows about this anymore.
No, it's not. So that's it. I guess this is another mystery about Frosty too. So was he a murderer?
Yeah, was he?
Was he a murderer? What do you guys think?
Well, it depends on. Wait, are we talking about Frosty, aka the Snowman, the first one or the second one?
We're talking about the
or either of.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to say which one was done in by the mob and which one was done in by the mob of townsfolk.
Right.
There could be a little confusion there.
Yeah, that's my problem is that when you see the photos of the snowman, I can't tell because there's snow which one is which.
Yeah, they are kind of dead ringers. Yeah.
No, I mean they both wear a scarf. They both wear the same hat, and they're shaped identically. They're round balls of snow.
I don't know, man.
That's a tough one,
It makes it hard to know which one is which.
I just don't want to get the angry emails.
Well, no, I'm not being a snowist.
Okay, all right, okay.
You're saying that they all look alike, aren't you?
I'm not being a snowist.
Okay, all right. So you can't tell the difference, which I guess means other people might not be able to tell the difference. I can tell the difference.
See, that's what I'm getting at. Is that I think that's part of the reason,
part of the problem,
that nobody really realizes that they're two because.
They look exactly the same.
To you. A lot of folks.
It's entirely possible that it's entirely possible too that if Frosty committed this heinous crime, that it might have been maybe Frosty 1 committed the crime, but Frosty 2 is the one who unfortunately paid the price for it.
Yeah.
Entirely
it's
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Frosty 1 was kind of a skeezy character, at least according to our anonymous source.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here are the theories. So evidence in favor of Frosty was a murderer. Well, small bits of bark were found in the vicinity of the child's body. That's Robert Irving. Mm-hmm. And also, Theodore Bundy said that when he saw Frosty and Irving together, Frosty had one of his stick hands on Irving's shoulder in kind of a creepy way.
I don't know. I guess you mentioned stick hands, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know that Frosty would have had the sheer upper body strength to commit a crime like was committed to Irving.
Robert Irving.
Well, that's his arms were twigs.
They were just sticks. Yeah. So that's kind of like. That kind of like makes it seem kind of unlikely.
Yeah, it seems unlikely to me too.
But if Frosty wasn't the killer, then who was?
I don't know. I think that's an unsolved. I don't know why we would bring this one up because it seems like it's a show in and of itself.
Yeah, maybe we should have held this back. Damn it.
Oops.
Yeah, well.
Right.
Yeah, we'll resurrect it and flog it to death next Christmas. How's that sound? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Frosty was not the killer, and who knows who the killer was. I mean, we'll never know probably.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Theodore Bundy, that kid. I don't know. Maybe he's around. Maybe
maybe he knows something.
Maybe he knows something.
We'll see if we can find him.
Yeah, we should track him down. He's got to be on Facebook.
Yeah, probably.
Everybody's on Facebook.
Everyone is.
You would think. Yeah.
Or MySpace, one of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with Joe. I don't think Frosty really could have done it.
Yeah, that's the hard part, especially again, there's two of them, and it just I don't know. I'm really torn on this.
Maybe
one.
the two of them ganged up on the kid.
Maybe.
But
although neither of them looked like they could do anything of any note.
Yeah. No, I think it. I mean, let's face it. People get murdered all the time, even in small towns, by just regular old human beings.
Think I might know if Frosty did it. I think I know how Frosty might have done it.
How did he do it?
Have you ever heard of Birking?
Oh yeah.
What?
Birking.
Yeah.
Birking.
You know who Burke and Hare are, right?
Yeah.
They're the guys, it was 1800s England, killed a bunch of people to sell them to the schools for autopsies.
Oh, yeah.
And they tended to be inebriated people or sickly, but they couldn't show any signs of being abused. So what these guys would do is they would sit on their chest to compress their lungs and then put their hand over their mouth and nose and suffocate them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's called, after Burke and Hare, it's called Birking.
Yeah, it could have been that.
It's possible that Frosty could have done that.
Yeah.
Especially to a little kid. Frosty would be heavy enough to cause that kind of damage.
Yeah, but we're again. This isn't really.
I know this is total speculation.
Really. Yeah.
I know.
But,
It's one of those things that hit me.
Yeah, but Robert Irving